This afternoon at approximately 1:45, we received a call about a possible kidnapping in the area of JFK Park, a park in the southeast portion of the city. We responded to a residence nearby and spoke to a 9-year-old girl. She said that while she was walking home from school near JFK Park, a vehicle she described as a white van or SUV type vehicle pulled up alongside of her. A male dressed in all black and had a mask of some sort over his face jumped out of the vehicle and grabbed the girl by the arm and pulled her into the car. The vehicle drove off. The young girl began screaming and yelling, and the vehicle just drove a block or two, and apparently because of that noise they decided to pull over, open the vehicle's door, and let the girl out and drove off. The girl, the 9-year-old girl, was remarkably frightened but also remarkably composed. She was able to give us information about the vehicle, that being a white van or SUV type vehicle, described the occupants as a male adult dressed in all black. The driver was a female adult with short hair and light complected skin. They did not, according to the victim, they didn't say anything at all, just drove a block or two and then let her out of the vehicle again. She didn't know and didn't have any information about who they may be, but she was remarkably composed for a 9-year-old who had just gone through that. And we're asking anybody who has any information about this crime to call us specifically. We'd like you to call Sanger Police Detective Shayla Edwards. Her number is 559-955-1751. 559-955-1751 with any information.
Approximately what time did this happen?
We got the call about 1:45 p.m. today.
Does she live in that area?
She does. She was on her way home from school.
And when she was let out, did she go running or?
She did. She ran home. We've been checking the area for video surveillance. We did actually have a video of her running and falling at one point and continuing to run home.
Any video of the van?
Not that we've located yet. We're searching video from our cameras throughout the city. Hopefully we can find vans that are similar or vehicles that are similar so we can continue our investigation.
Is this the first time that happened before?
Not to my knowledge, and it was a completed kidnapping, and thank goodness it was a brief event and that she was unharmed.
You guys obviously talked to the girl and she said she doesn't know them, right?
That's correct.
And how far she lives from the school? Because she walks to school probably obviously every day.
Yeah, just a few blocks. Just a few blocks. And today was early release day. The students were let out midday, and she was on her way home at the time of the event.
Do we know her parents every day pick her up, or she walks every day by herself?
From what I was told, normally they do pick her up, but on early release days, I believe she walks home.
What school was it?
She attends Jefferson Elementary School.
Was there a different route that she took? You know, not the normal.
Not to my knowledge. I assume that she takes the same route every day.
Was there other kids around, or was she by herself?
She was by herself, according to her. She was walking home by herself.
How far from the school is this park?
Just a few blocks.
And
Chief, what would you suggest for the parents in this case? Because sometimes they're working, they're outside, they don't have time to go pick their kids up. So, but it's different. All cases not the same. So.
Certainly not, and you know there are situations where parents allow their children to walk home. We would just encourage children to walk home in pairs or groups of children. It's safer if you're with other kids than if you're by yourself. And if you have to be by yourself, try to take major streets where there are a lot of vehicles driving by that can witness your route home.
Would you like to comment on girl's quick reaction at that time? How she probably survived the kidnapping.
Well, she was literally terrified, which is what prompted her to scream, is the way she was screaming. And I think that, well, it's a summation on my part, but I think that caused the people that perpetrated this crime to panic a bit, pull the car over, and let her out. So.
In the fall, a girl was approached at Madison Elementary School. Any idea if this is connected?
No information has led to the two being connected at this point.
Do we know where that van was heading or where they might be?
We do not. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're checking video surveillance from throughout the city. We've got multiple cameras throughout the area, and we're going to be going through all of the footage to see if we can't spot the vehicle.
I know you mentioned that it had been a white van. Did you have a make and model for the van as well yet?
She couldn't tell us that. She said it was a white SUV or van type vehicle, so we're looking for anything close.
And how
Is
did
there
she
more
know?
information about the description of the two suspects?
What she provided us was the male that came out of the vehicle and grabbed her was dressed all in black and had some sort of a covering or a mask over his face. She said all she could see was his eyes, and that the driver was a female with short hair and light complexion.
And how did she know to scream like that in the car?
I don't know that it was a conscious choice. I think it was just fear taking over, and she screamed.
Can we expect stepped-up patrols around that area?
Certainly, we'll be looking out, not just that area, but other areas where children are traversing at that time of the day.
And talking to the schools, I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Her reaction, even though it might not have been planned, would you say that was the right thing to do for her?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if there's a one right thing to do, but obviously making noise where people can, well, you can draw attention to your situation is a good thing.
Typically schools would have, crossing guards and people outside to kind of help students cross the street and get home. Is that the case on early release days as well, or is this a day where those were
In the close proximity to the school, there are crossing guards. This was, as I mentioned, a few blocks away.
Chief, what would you recommend for parents in this case? Let's suppose some people, parents cannot pick their kids up every day. So what would you recommend for them to do?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, if your children have to walk, try to walk in groups rather than by yourself. Or, it's always great if parents can collaborate with one another and maybe share responsibilities for taking their kids to and from school. That's always a good plan as well.
Do you know if her parents had ever talked to her about any potentially kidnapping or what to do in a kidnapping?
I don't know.
And the kid is not hurt or anything, right?
No, she was uninjured,
They
thankfully.
didn't push her out of the car, so they just
No,
stopped and let her go.
that's correct.
And did you say where they had dropped her off and released her?
It was just about a block or so from when they picked her up. So,
Did it seem like they were targeting her specifically?
well, she was alone, so there was no one else in the area for them to target. So we don't know if it's a case of a specific identity or just the fact that she was alone at the time.
Do we have any eyewitnesses when she was
We're
kidnapped?
still looking, and that's one of the reasons we did this afternoon, is we want anyone who may have seen anything to call us and let us know.
Is there any indication what direction the van may have headed from that location where they dropped her off?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And would you say that parents should be talking to their kids about kidnapping or what to do in a situation like this?
Absolutely. The more pre-advice that a parent can provide to their kid in a situation like this, the better, so they would be prepared. Heaven forbid something like this happens.
Was there any witnesses to the crime?
We're still looking. We haven't found any yet.
Is
And then,
there,
can you repeat the school?
Jefferson Elementary School.
is there anything about Jefferson Elementary School that would make it a hotbed for people to kind of
No,
witness or-
no, it's one of many elementary schools in the city, and the school district is remarkably safe. These things are rare, to say the least.
Chief, do you have any stats on how many kidnappings specifically in the Sanger area, like 2024, 23?
Well, to my knowledge, we haven't had any in the last, well, I've been here for 3.5 years. I don't know of any completed kidnapping in that time frame. So,
It's fair to say safe to say that this was pretty bold of these people to attempt. Any comment on that?
well, obviously it's bold when you commit a crime like this, but I want to reassure the people of Sanger that we're going to do everything we can to find these people so it doesn't happen again.
I guess what are the next steps for the investigation?
Well, we're going to continue to look for witnesses. We're going to continue to review surveillance video. We've left cards in some of the houses that were empty that have surveillance equipment on the outside. Maybe we can look at their recorded surveillance, see if they may have caught the suspect vehicle. So there's quite a bit we can do from this point forward.
Chief, this was pretty traumatizing for the kids. So are the city or the PDs providing any kind of counseling or something for the little kids?
We have the ability to refer folks to counseling, and I'm sure the school will be doing that as well.
Would you mind repeating the streets that this occurred on?
It occurred near JFK Park in the southeast corner of the city. The streets are roughly Edgar and Annandale and North. JFK is just off of North,
And where she was dropped?
just down the street from JFK Park.